It's time to build a Lothern Sea Guard. Do it proper. Not just put a bow and a quiver on the back of a spearman and that's it. No. If the Lothern Sea Guard are the Marines of the elves, then what I'm building here is the SEAL Team 6. And it's gonna be funny. First of all, this guy is gonna have 2 bows. Because I say so. People might like to call Jurassic Park. You spend so much time thinking if you can, you never thought if you should. But that is where I think they are wrong. Because I look at this guy with his 2 bows and his weird head. Because let's be honest, Games Workshop likes playing with proportions when it comes to their games. And because of that, the spearmen have tinier heads compared to the archer. It's like the different races. These guys have their heads squashed. Doesn't matter. But I think I can do a little bit better than this. The second member of this new guard is gonna be double wield. Why? Because I think it's cool fighting with 2 swords at once. Not practical or close to reality, but I like it. I think it fits for a great contrast to the guy with double bows. Hopefully, I'll have enough to make a guy with like double, what are they called? Double spears. That's gonna be hard. But I'll see what I can do. I kinda like it. It fits with his brother. And the only issue I see on this is that, well, the head might be squished when compared to the archers. The head looks, in my opinion, quite decent, the spearman head on the archer body. So that's interesting. That's good to keep in mind. Okay, this one is normal. It just uses pieces from the regular kit, and it's basically the sword of the musician. Yes, and a bow. Why not? Pretty easy, pretty normal. But one thing that I really realize is that the way I'm taking some of these out, like him, it seems like I'm preparing them for a season of Game of Thrones rather than, Warhammer, but whatever. Moving on to the next one. This is going to be pretty easy. Just double spear, like I had that guy when I first started doing the spearman. This one is pretty interesting. I gave him the double, spear, which is very nice and all. And I've made sure to put this beautiful bow and quiver from the spearman onto him. Because, this captures a little bit of that Lothern Sea Guard feel, the classic feel of just strapping a bow and quiver onto a spearman. And I think this does a good job. I wanted to capture the same spirit again, proper Lothern Sea Guard. So I decided to give this guy a spear of swords, more like a polearm, the one that comes with the Tyrannoc chariot. The normal one, of course, not the White Lions one. And of course, boom, backpack from the spearman. And he's good to go. That's 5 of this amazing team made and ready for battle. I admit this one looks quite stupid. It is the axe from the charioteers, those White Lion guys. And there is a shield in front of it, and there's a reason for that. I couldn't find a piece to make there to put it properly, to make it look good. So I'm using a shield to hide it. This is horrible. Not my best work so far. Not my best work ever, in fact. But he's the strong guy that has a shield. Hopefully. The next one is good in its own right. Spear from the spearman, sinking thing from the spearman, bow and arrow and quiver from the spearman, and just the body of your regular old archer. It looks pretty well, and I have to be honest, the archer models are perfect for like sea warriors, so the bunch of swords and stuff, this would be perfect. But again, it's pretty easy. You just put the pieces from there that you still have left after making your army and just deck some of these out. But there's still a few more left, and I'm curious what I'm gonna do with them. I have to think things a little beforehand. Now that's a combination that I didn't have. What was it again? spear and sword. Now, that's pretty good. I have to say, I like spear and sword. Gave him another sword there in the middle, and, of course, bow, arrow, quiver. Perfect. You know why I did that? I think he should be like a master of arms, of swords. A man prepared to confront destiny with all the weapons he has mastered in his, well, since he's an elf, eternal life. I think that's pretty cool. And to be honest, this is one of my favorite ones. I like the way this one turned out. Just cluttered with weapons everywhere. I guess the name of the game now is just taking fate head on. Spear, bow and arrow, quiver. Perfect, nice. Squashed head, of course. Can't do anything without squash head. But I am quite happy with this one too. I like how these two turned out. They look like perfect warriors. Ready to fight fate. Ready to fight Morgoth at his own gate. But that just leaves one more unit until my SEAL Team 6 of elves is finished. Finally, we have this guy. It's a normal, archer body, and I gave him sword, shield, spear, shield, bow, quiver, arrows. Perfect. You know what? I wanted to. This guy's gonna be like the veteran of the group, the one that knows what it means to be a proper Lothern Sea Guard, like these guys. Yeah, but he's grown so old. He's like so well at this stuff that when you send them on their mission, he is mostly the only one that comes back because he's so good at his job despite being old. I'm going to be honest. I like the way these guys came out. Sure, some of them are pretty goofy, like this guy or this guy. Some of them look a little bit out of place, like this guy, and other stuff like that. But overall, I like them. I feel they make an interesting addition to my to the rest of my elven army. And I say this because I've done these only using bits and pieces from what they offer in the battalion, in the battalion box. And because of that, they all look interesting, and in my opinion, they all have a unique feel to it. I've tried to design them to, make them on the spot as unique as possible, and while sure in certain instances I might have failed, I know I've made some of them look pretty well. At least this one. I like the way this one looks. I might upgrade him and he might be a noble, but that's a different story. So overall, yes, you can make your own Lothern Sea Guard. You can do it the proper classic way by just making them like this guy and just sew a spear, shield, and the boating, and then you're pretty much set. You can be a little bit more creative, like this guy with the spear and the bow and stuff on his back, and so on. Overall, the world is your oyster, and this is just one example of how you can make them. Of course, try to avoid making the same mistake I've made with this one, because that's very important. Nevertheless, if you liked it so far, and if you reached this point, and hopefully you did, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe because it helps the channel grow. And I'll see you in the next one.